Hi everyone, Kendra Ward here. Thank you so much for being with me again. I wanted to bring up the topic today of what does it mean to deeply listen, and what does it mean for us to feel listened to, and what does it mean for you to listen well to others. So this is such a broad topic and one that really influences all of us, whether we're thinking about listening to our spouse or our children, or if you work with clients. We all have relationships in our lives that we could use maybe some updating on our listening skills. So to me, it feels like this topic is especially important as we're dealing with the static and the interruptions of dealing with technology in our everyday life. It never used to be that we had to fight for competition against someone else's attention, looking down like this the whole time. And you know, the world is more complicated in terms of our abilities to listen well. So it feels to me like we need to put some added extra effort into it these days. So I'm going to give you 3 tips on ways to enhance and dig a little deeper into your own ability to listen to others. And what you'll find is that as you mirror that, you'll get it reflected right back at you. So the first tip is making sure that you've set up your boundaries in order to have successful listening take place. So this tip is maybe not as appropriate for a short conversation, but maybe more appropriate for having a deeper conversation with or maybe something more challenging with a spouse or with a client. You know, you just make sure that you are holding the space for listening to take place. So what that means is that you have set up your own internal boundary where you're not just all either cut off or too open, but that your boundaries, your external boundary is working for you in a way that you're receptive and holding space in a healthy way. But that you're also not either responding from a realm of pity or over-exaggeration, but that you're grounded in your intention of really hearing this person. And so, you know, my visualization for that is feeling my boundary first, and then making sure that that's strong and healthy, and then holding that space so that there's almost like this cupping, mirroring to take place, so that the person feels as though all the attention is on them. You know, that you are not distracted by something else, but that you're set up with an intention of mindfulness, that you are present and aware to the energetics of their words, the energetics of their body language, that you are paying attention to those subtle details, because a lot gets said by those subtle details. So that method in terms of deep listening can allow us to perceive and use our own internal wisdom and truth cord around, they said this, but you know, I'm getting a hit that that there's a lot more to that, or you know, whatever it is. So the first one is holding your own boundary space and working with an intention of mindfulness, so that space is held in a healthy, protective and loving way. So along with that comes just that idea of that you are perceiving the subtleties of body language. So, you know, one of the biggest problems these days is that our body language is turned away. You know, our eye contact is turned away. How does that feel? You know, that it feels a lot different when a child is going up to their parent and the child is looking for some validation, or that the parent saw what cool thing they just did. And instead the parent is like this, you know, and all parents need breaks or get fried or feel overwhelmed. So this is not really a commentary about all of that, but so much, it's just such a like ongoing present example of how we are wired for eye contact. It's just how we operate. So once in a while playing around with, am I really looking at this person, or am I just kind of like daydreaming off? Am I perceiving the quality and color of their eyes? Am I perceiving the subtle details of their body? Really connecting through eye contact and body language. That's our second one. So the third one is deep listening through not interjecting your own stuff. So sorry, ladies and women out there, because we have so much more brain space wired for language emotive, we tend to want to interact and relate by giving our own story. So, you're talking about such and such happening, and the person's like, I know, I just had that happen to me and this and that. And then before you know it, they have gone off on a 5-minute tangent and you're left there like, well, that's close to what I was talking about, but now I don't feel so heard. So just remembering that even though you feel like you're relating to that person by sharing, that it actually pulls the energy away from them being able to express themselves fully and honestly, to then the energy being all placed on you. And there's a bit of our own egos that want to get in the way of, that are part of that process. So just making sure that when you're deep listening, and it might come up and you're like, oh, I could share this right now, but just holding yourself back a little bit. And maybe when the person's finished, you could share a story, or maybe you just don't even need to. And that's part of this mindfulness practice in terms of deep listening, is you realize that sometimes you don't need to talk. Sometimes just the holding of space in a really present way is all that person really wants. So I hope that these 3 tips on deep listening help improve the way that you're interacting with your relationships, and that it allows you to expand those relationships, and that those people around you feel loved, seen, and heard. Until next week, I hope that this is helpful. Please pass it along, and can't wait till next time.